Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for attending today's webinar. We are so very happy to have you joining us, and we do have a very informative webinar planned and are excited to jump right into it. So without further ado, let's begin today's webinar by stating our objectives. After sitting in on today's webinar, you'll walk away with an understanding of key challenges and factors to consider when you are reviewing a new GL, our collaborative accounting framework, and then lastly, a solid understanding of FreshBooks and its variety of features. We also do have a couple of housekeeping requests that we want you to be mindful of. The first is please try your best to limit any distractions over the next 60 minutes. And then second, if you do have any questions, we do have a period at the very end for questions, but if you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to use the chat functionality. And so what we've actually done and what you'll notice on the slide or towards the very bottom of the slide is we've included a snapshot of the Google Meets bar. So, and there's an arrow pointing to what that chat functionality looks like. And so what I will do is we've already used it, and I can see Faye's drop. Yeah, Faye, Jamie, everyone's dropping in the chat, which is fantastic. And I'm gonna go ahead and ask my question. Where is it? I'm calling in from. Perfect. So we will be using the chat, or feel free to use the chat as we progress throughout the webinar. And with that said, let's jump into some more formal introductions. My name is Michael, and I am a partner specialist and education coordinator here at FreshBooks. I've been with FreshBooks for a little over half a year. Time has really flied by. So I'm also a CPA and have a strong passion for education. In terms of some of my likes and dislikes, I love soccer and Kit Kat or any type of chocolate, to be quite honest with you. I'm not necessarily a big fan of bubble tea, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to pass it over to Faye.
I happen to love bubble tea, but I also love teasing Michael. So hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Faye Peng. I am the Chief Growth Officer here at FreshBooks. As I mentioned, I love bubble tea. I also have 2 young kids. So this week is like Super Bowl with Halloween, but it also means that I love Lego a lot. And this says doesn't love, I love summer rainstorms, just not when it lasts for too long. So nice to meet everyone. Looking forward to the conversation today.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Trull. I am the owner of Balance CFO, and I also am really more of a financial educator. I'm a CPA, but I don't work with clients one-to-one anymore. I do educational topics, YouTube videos, things like that, and I love recommending tools for small business owners. So excited to be here with FreshBooks. And my loves, I have a lot of them, but I went with Broadway, especially Hamilton. Piano bars, especially dueling piano bars. My husband jokes I could live in a piano bar. And I recently just picked up pickleball, and I am loving it. So much fun. And I don't love wearing hard pants. In fact, I'm not wearing hard pants now, meaning any pants that are not soft. So that is me.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jamie. And we also have Holly there on the screen. She's not with us today, but Holly is a very valued member of our team. She is the director of our accountant channel and is also a relatively new FreshBooker as well. With that said, she is certainly not new to the industry, as she previously worked at Xero for 6 years. And if I'm not mistaken, she actually had a chance to work out of their New Zealand headquarters before moving to Canada. Holly loves all things outdoors and being active. Like many people, Holly doesn't like getting a bad cup of coffee. And so last but not least, we have Justin.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Justin, and I'm a Senior Partner Program Specialist. I've been with FreshBooks for about 4 years, almost 5 in a few months. But I've been a part of the accounting industry for close to about 15 years now. Coming to my likes, I love karaoke, and I almost exclusively pick the songs with the highest notes. I fail at it, but it's always fun. Something that I picked up this year is doing long road trips, but the only time I don't have fun with it is if it's snowing. I hate driving in the snow. That is me. Thanks, Michael. You can take it away.
Yeah, you and I both. I'm not a big fan of the snow either. But so those were some formal introductions. Listed on this slide is an overview of our time here together today. First, we'll jump into the biggest challenges that are actually facing accounting professionals and what they have to contend with. We will then get into different factors that you should ultimately be considering when reviewing GL softwares. After that, we'll introduce our very own collaborative accounting framework, which helps you strengthen client relationships. Next, we'll give you a very brief overview about what we're all about here at FreshBooks, and then really we'll do a deeper dive and explore some FreshBooks functionalities and features that are essential for servicing potentially even your clients. And then last but not least, we will open it up for any questions. All right, Faye, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Michael. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time out of your busy days to join us. I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes just talking about some industry trends that we're seeing here at FreshBooks, both from our customers and our conversations that we're having with experts in this space. And so, we know how challenging it can be for accountants and advisors today to balance everything from the rapid pace of change in technology, the emergence of AI, where do you put that in your workflow, in your practice, the escalating client expectations, and then compounded by the talent shortage. So there are a number of challenges that we wanted to highlight today as you think about how a GL and the right tech stack might actually support you in tackling some of those challenges and alleviating some of the pain points that you might feel. So we're going to go through 6 challenges. If you flip to the next slide, the first one I think probably resonates with a lot of people in the line, and that is accountant and client miscommunication, right? There, in a lot of cases, are workflows and technology that are built for that accounting professional. They don't always have the client experience in mind. And so it can leave small business clients really feeling out of the loop, or it could put the burden on the advisor to be doing more of the work than, say, they really costed out or want to be doing within that relationship. We'll talk later about our collaborative accounting framework, but that was really put together to help manage through this and alleviate some of the pain points that we were noticing within the industry, right? So that's challenge number 1. The second one is that consistently rising cost of, this says GL software, I would actually take it up a level to all software. Right? The promise of technology follows a bit of a hype curve, but you have to really understand how to get the value out of that to make this equation work. So across the industry, we're seeing continuous price rises, obviously being driven by things like high inflation and increasing costs of innovation, but this puts a strain on you all as owners. I've even heard stories from partners saying, hey, like, I've had to absorb some of these price increases because I can't in good conscience pass this on to my client. I just don't feel like they're getting the benefit of that. And so I don't feel right passing it on, right? So instead of technology actually helping you be more efficient and increase your profit margins, can actually sometimes dig into them, right? So really something to consider and think about as a challenge facing the industry today. If you flip to the next slide, Michael, the third one, the buzzword of the year, maybe the last 2, is obviously AI. And if you look at any of the lists, accounting is one of the professions that really rises to the top when it says what industries is AI going to disrupt. We know that AI is met with sort of cautious optimism within this space, right? A bit of hesitation, a bit of trepidation around where do I put it within my practice? What workflows are best, where best to apply AI technology? The honest truth is a lot of software providers are already deeply embedding AI, FreshBooks included, in terms of how we build our product and how we leverage the latest AI to actually drive product value for you and your clients. And so our headline here is really thinking about how you might be adaptive. Try, dream big, start small with AI. Where can you place that within your workflow and within your practice? But we know that this is a challenge for a lot of folks, just like, how do I think about AI within my practice? The fourth challenge we're seeing is data migration and management, right? We know that switching software can be a headache, it can be a pain, it can be time consuming, and a lot of unwinding of the way things have been done. So for us, we are really big on really understanding how your data is structured within your firm, the data management, and making sure that we're helping our partners put processes in place to better manage their own data. We understand that this is a challenge, and we certainly want to help when it comes to things like data migration and switching. The fifth challenge I wanted to highlight today is compatibility, right? Said another way, interoperability. We know that some softwares have limited compatibility with others, but the more that it can plug into other systems, whether that's making payments or payroll, your bank connections, that's just going to make your day-to-day much simpler, right? Again, we think that automation and that compatibility with other elements of your practice are going to be the key efficiency and time savings unlocks that you need to be able to focus on growing your practice or better serving your customers, whatever your business goals might be. Last, but certainly not least, is usability and generating reports. We hear from a lot of our customers that figuring out how to use a new GL, pouring through hours of training, support pages, they just do not want to do that. So we understand that challenge. We try to make onboarding and our support process really fun and seamless, but thinking about how you can actually drive usability within the product is something that our product development team thinks about a lot. And we're really proud of the fact that at FreshBooks, we're actually known for how easy our platform is to use and how easy it is to pick up. Right? The last thing is all around reports and how do you go from hindsight to insight, leveraging the data that's already in your system to generate really insightful reports, both for you and your clients. And we've made some really great progress on that front, which I know the team is going to share with you later on. So those are the 6 challenges we wanted to tee up. I'm actually going to introduce a quick poll. We just wanted to check with the 33 folks on the call today, which one of these most resonated with you. So if you look on the image on the left, there's a sort of 3 icon. I call it the PlayStation icon, but you've got the triangle, the square, and the circle. If you click on that, we're going to launch a poll imminently. We'd love to know, which do you find of these 6 the most challenging for you? What would most resonates? And maybe it's something else as well that you want to drop in the chat.
Awesome. Yep, so the poll is live and I can see people are voting, which is great.
All right. Got 9 votes. Let's keep going. Great. I think we're, should we end it there, Michael, or do you want to keep going?
That sounds good.
Okay. So 14 votes later, usability and generating reports is at 5. Accountant, client miscommunication, and rising costs of software are tied for number 2, and then data migration and management at number 3. Well, thank you for sharing. I will now pass it over to Jamie, who's going to talk through how to think about selecting a new GL software.
Hi, everybody, and thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to do this webinar with FreshBooks. This is the first time I've done a webinar with FreshBooks. I'm really, I'm just glad to be here. So like Faye said, I'm going to be talking about the factors that you should consider when you are reviewing a GL software, deciding if it's one that you want to use within your practice for your clients. And you'll notice that a lot of these are going to also kind of correspond with some of the challenges that Faye just pointed out. So here are some of the things that you want to do. We'll go ahead and start with the first one. So the first thing is collaboration. Some of you mentioned that as being one of the issues that you've run into. I think this is so huge in the accounting profession to make it seamless, both from an accounting side of things, a back-end side of things, and also for your client, right? And so I think we all remember a world where there were multiple different sources of data, right? You had version control issues, things like that. And now we're living in this world where there really is access to real-time data that's going to help you communicate with your clients in a way that's really helpful to them in the moment, right? And so you want to make sure that any GL that you're using is really easy to collaborate with. I think that's the biggest move, the biggest benefit I've seen of moving into this cloud-based world for me has been the collaboration aspect, the one source of the truth, right? And so that's something you definitely want to have when you're looking at a GL. It's going to make your life easier, and it's going to make your client's life easier. And then ease of use. This is what I voted for and other ones of you voted for as well, the usability piece. And I think we know, again, we may be wired one way as accountants, bookkeepers. We may, be able to figure out some of these platforms, but going along with the collaboration, right? The accountant also, or the client also needs to understand what they need to do and how, things work from their end. And so something that is really easy, both for you to learn, again, it can be difficult to learn a new software. Sometimes we don't want to start that because it is a process to learn something new. But if it's easy to use, if it's actually intuitive, right, it makes that a lot better and it makes your clients a lot happier. They're not screwing things up all over the place. Everybody just is able to figure it out and really navigate within the platform. So I think that's really key when you're looking at it, thinking not just, does this have what I need from an accounting perspective, but also, is this usable from my client's perspective? Is this going to be easy for them to adapt, or am I just going to be cleaning up their messes all the time? All right, let's go to the next one. Yep. So bank and app integrations. So we are in 2024, right? We are in the world of integrations. And sometimes there are so many of them, but it really makes a big difference if we have things that integrate and integrate well, right? Because we know that the better things integrate natively, the less troubleshooting, fixing, things like that we're going to have to do. And so, for example, point of sale processors, right? Tax softwares, things like this, like it says, are some of those key things that we're used to, but there's a lot more as well, especially when we're talking about accounting GL. There are systems your clients are already using. Is there a way that it's going to integrate really, really well for them that's not going to feel clunky, right? That they can take the systems they're already using. They don't have to change everything they're doing, but perhaps it can integrate with what FreshBooks is doing or with what a GL system in general is doing. So that's really the question to look at. And you want something that's going to integrate preferably directly with the bank, right? Again, gone are the days of the old desktop and downloading the bank statements and doing all the crazy stuff. Now we have these bank integrations, but as we know as accountants, they like to break. So the more directly that we can have those integrations happening, the better, the less troubleshooting you're going to have to do on the back end of things. And so really any GL software, you want to find one that's putting a lot of effort and work into making sure those integrations are not just existing, but really work well. Go to the next one. Yep. Okay, data capture. This is another one. What is the point of an accounting software? Capturing data. That's literally the purpose of a GL, is to capture data and to organize data in a way that makes sense, right? So you want that data to be being captured. You want to make sure that nothing is getting lost in translation, right? That it's quick and easy, that again, real time is really, really important, that data is being fed in real time, and that there is a smooth process. If you're trying to move from another GL, right? How many of us have, and this may be some people, you can even let me know in the chat here, if you have, thought about moving GLs, but maybe all your clients are on one GL. And you're like, oh, this is going to be such work to not only learn the system, but just the data migration part of it. That's a challenge. And that's a real challenge to say, like, we got to be ready. It's got to be worth it to make that move. And probably one that has an ability to do that seamlessly is going to be the one you want to go with. If you have to jump through hoops to migrate your data, you're probably not going to do it, right? So I think that's really important when you're looking at a GL. How easy is it to migrate? And even if your clients are coming on, maybe they're on a different one, right? You may have to migrate some of those clients potentially. So just making sure you understand that process. How easy is it? Do you get help with it? I think all of that's really, really important when you're choosing a GL. Okay, next one. So this is a big one for me. I am a huge reporting nerd. This is the reason that I really harp on this. If you are running a business, I am a big believer that business owners run businesses. They are looking at their numbers, not just for taxes. And I think sometimes we as accountants can live in this world that all of this is stuff we're doing for taxes. And so therefore, as long as it's good for the tax return, it's good for the customer, and that's doing our job. But at the end of the day, what really the benefit of having access to this data in real time, having these reports that they can run, is to run their business better. That's going to resonate with your client a lot more. You can also charge more when you are providing services to help them run their business, not just help them check the box for compliance for taxes. And so that means customization, right? Can you create a chart of accounts, that is custom to the business owner, to what they want to see, that will help them make decisions in their business, not just one that will transfer well and integrate to, their tax reporting software, but one that will be useful to them. And I think so few business owners even look at their P&L, look at their balance sheet, especially, right? They may not even look at these things. They tell me this all the time. And so much of it is because it doesn't really make sense to them, or maybe it doesn't really have what they need. And so having really great, chart of accounts customization and strong reporting where the data that goes in can be pulled out in ways that are useful. That to me is a huge purpose of the GL, right? The data goes in, but how are we pulling it out and making sense of that data? That is what your clients want, and that is what they will pay for. So that's a big one I can get on my soapbox about, but I just think the reporting aspect, customization is key to really provide value to your clients. All right, and one more, yep. And dedicated support. So this is the last one, but I think this is something we've lost a lot in this day and age. And y'all have felt this, I'm sure, right? It's so hard to get a human being on the phone. How many times do we have to say representative into the phone to get a live human being that we can talk to that can help us with our problem? It's great to have other tools too, in the chat and the Q&As and all the AI features, but at the end of the day, having support is priceless. And I love the idea of, you're not just paying for a software, like it says on here, you're paying for the support that comes with it. So often, I think software companies see themselves as just, they're selling you the software, but it's software as a service, right? There's a service element here. If they can't use it well, right? If you have all these features in the world, but nobody understands how to use it, well, what good is that, right? And so having somebody who can help teach you, having somebody who can help you migrate, right? Having someone that you can go to really have true, actual conversations with a human being, it's hard to find. But when you do, it can have a tremendous positive impact for you, but also then on your end client as well, because you're able to make the most of that platform, right? So I know that we're going to jump into it a little bit later, but the collaborative accounting framework is something that I saw FreshBooks recently. I just learned about this as well, so I'm kind of learning in real time with y'all, but I love the concept of it, and I think it really illustrates well the importance of this collaboration between the client, between you and what FreshBooks does, and how they can help kind of bridge that. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Jamie. Well said. Especially as someone who's, I guess, considered to be in support, we appreciate you shining a light on us. So with that said, we're going to jump into learning more about FreshBooks, just at an overview before we actually jump into the specific pre-accounting and accounting features. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll start by looking at a timeline of where FreshBooks was, where we are now. And so just again, very, very briefly, FreshBooks is a cloud-based accounting software. And so ultimately, we're on a mission to help both small business owners and accounting professionals grow and thrive. And as you can see, we were founded over 20 years ago. And back then, we were simply an invoicing software for small businesses. As you can tell, today, our mission has evolved to empower both business owners and their accountants with our double entry accounting software. So our focus has always been offering simple, intuitive software that enhances efficiency. In other words, we want to make the hard parts of running a business that much easier. FreshBooks is strongly committed to bridging the gap between accountants and their clients. I don't know if anyone, the gap. Anyways, so throughout 2023, we have tirelessly committed to innovating our product and launching programs specifically for accountants. And so some of these include, again, as mentioned several times throughout this webinar, collaborative accounting, which is ultimately an evolved way of working that elevates an accountant's advisory expertise. So again, you'll hear more about this in just a little bit. We also have our Accountant Hub. And so our hub allows trusted advisors to add clients and manage their books all in one place. And then we have our FreshBooks Accounting Partner Program. So this is designed to simultaneously elevate accountants and also build a strong community. We've also brought on advisors through our Partner Advisory Council, otherwise known as FreshPack. And so this brings together brilliant accounting experts and thought leaders to provide us with feedback to ultimately make our software and product better. And so as you can see, we focused on becoming an all-in-one platform that is an easy-to-use tool so that you spend less time on cleanup work and more time offering strategic advice to your clients. Now, you might be curious, who exactly are our ideal types of clients? So FreshBooks is for solopreneurs all the way through to businesses that have 25 employees or contractors. Regardless of where exactly the business is in their life cycle, whether it's from startup to scaling or full-time. So FreshBooks is easy to use right out of the gate. That's something that we hear a lot from our existing users and becomes the foundational tool for businesses as they scale. Our core set of features allows businesses to grow without needing to have large, complex tech stacks or disjointed systems, or again, high monthly cost. So our ideal clients can be grouped into the following different industries. I would say first is service or project-based industries. Next are industries that are light on inventory and assets. And then also service-based organizations that focus on creative and digital agencies, IT, software and technology, professional health and services, and then ultimately the trades and contractors. So now that we've had an opportunity to learn about FreshBooks as a company and who are our ideal clients, let's talk about this big thing we've been building up in collaborative accounting. So this framework opens the door for a new and advanced way of working with clients so that your firm can showcase their expertise, their advisory expertise, to be more specific. So up next, we actually have a recording of Holly explaining the FreshBooks collaborative accounting framework in more detail and how it addresses the concerns that we just went over. Let's go ahead and see that.
Introducing the Collaborative Accounting Framework. The framework shows how accounting partners, such as yourself, can best collaborate with your clients and add value by combining technology as well as workflows. This is not a new feature. It is like a best of workflow on how you as trusted advisors can work with your small business clients to use FreshBooks features together from the beginning of your working relationship. You will recognize our current FreshBooks features above that support many different types of industries. The framework comprises of two halves, those pre-accounting tasks on the right-hand side and the accounting tasks on the left-hand side. The two sets of tasks are connected by key moments of communication, highlighting how important it is for accountants and bookkeepers to work in step with your small business clients, which you will see shortly in our demo. We recommend that the business owner or client is responsible for completing the pre-accounting tasks, and accounting partners pick up where they left off with the accounting tasks. This is because your client will be more able to complete the above pre-accounting tasks easily, as they are more in contact with their customers, their business, and their employees. They can be responsible for getting those invoices and collecting payments, as well as ensuring that before you complete month-end activities like bank reconciliation, they will know all the bank feed came in during the month. Whereas you, as the advisors, pick up where they left off with the accounting tasks. You will be able to review, confirm, and adjust if needed. Specifically, you are responsible for matching bank transactions, reviewing transactions, journal entries, and so on and so on. I'm excited for us to show you the demo, so let's kick into some of the product features.
Okay, so before we actually jump into those product features that Holly mentioned at the very end of her video, what we'd like to do next is launch our second poll question. And again, just as a friendly reminder, you can find these poll questions using what Faye likes to refer to as the PlayStation icon in the very bottom right of your Google Meet screen. I did notice a couple of people commenting saying they couldn't find it. If you can't find it, feel free to just drop it in the chat. We'd love to hear what you have to say anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and launch that second poll question. And when you go into the poll section, you might have to scroll a little bit further down. It's just below the first one. And so the second poll question asks the following. After learning about the collaborative accounting framework, do you want more, less, or the same level of client collaboration? So again, we'll just leave it open for about 30 to 40 seconds. I'm noticing how no one's putting less, which is probably a good thing. Okay, maybe another 10 seconds, and then I'll go ahead and wrap up the poll. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up the poll. So I can see like it looks like the majority voted for more, and we also do have quite a few votes for same level, which is great. So it's time to get technical and show you all of the wonderful features that we have available in FreshBooks that accounting professionals and business owners love to use. First, I'd like to show you a couple of our most popular features, which include invoicing and time tracking. So let's go ahead and see this in action.
On the time tracking page, you can start a timer just before you start working and leave it running in the background. If you prefer not to use the timer, we have the option of manually logging time after the fact. Use one of our different views. It's daily, weekly, or monthly to backfill your time. And each time entry can be assigned either to an internal or one of your external clients or projects. You can add the service that you're tracking, enter your hours, and then mark it as billable or non-billable as needed. And once everyone has logged their time, it can then be reviewed in the All tab. What's great about this section is the level of detail available to the reviewer. You can see all the entries at once, or you can filter it for a specific person or project. And once approved, click the Generate Invoice button to add a new invoice for the unbilled time entries. Customize it as needed, and then click Add to Invoice when you're ready to proceed. And this takes us nicely to our final owner feature, Invoices. Here on the screen is a one-off invoice for this client. FreshBooks also has options for recurring invoices as well as retainers for those clients who have subscription-based services. You can also customize your logo. You can include attachments, which are great for sending receipts. And on the right side of the screen, we have all of our invoice-specific as well as client-specific settings. You can enable online payments through one of our online payment processors like Stripe or PayPal. And you can also enable ACH payments and allow for partial payments as well. You can customize reminders as well as payment late fees at the client level. And your save and your send options are at the top of the page. You can save an invoice to a draft, or you can send it to the primary and the secondary contacts on file. You can add a customized template for the client. You can preview what the email would look like. And you can also share it via link, which will generate a unique URL that can be sent via email or text. This gives the receiver the same viewing experience and payment options, just like an emailed invoice. And I should also mention that when it comes to these features, like estimates and proposals, invoices, and time tracking, it can all be accessed through the mobile app on iOS and Android for those clients that would like to use FreshBooks on the go. Thanks, Michael. So that was a great video. A lot of Friends references in there. If you can tell, I am a big Friends fan. So yeah, after each product video, I will be providing you with a summary of the key points that we discussed and also highlight the challenges or factors that it addresses. So starting with our invoicing and time tracking features, they help business owners tackle the challenge that surrounds data capture and ease of use. So tracking time in FreshBooks can easily be done through the platform or the mobile app. And as team members can be set up in different roles like a manager, employee, or even an external contractor, they can log their own time, and then a manager, accountant, or business owner can review these time entries before the payroll run. Tracking time can also be used to examine productivity and ensure that all the work is being done in line with the estimate or proposal that you shared with your clients. Invoicing and getting paid via our various payments methods continues to be where FreshBooks shines brightest. It's so easy to convert an accepted proposal to an invoice, and then you can add as much or as little detail to the invoice as you like, and then include the billable hours from your team's time tracking. And with the scheduling options like recurring invoice templates and retainers, you'll never miss sending out an invoice. And finally, getting paid is also easy when you enable credit card payments or ACH using one of our payment processors. Customer credit cards can be saved for those recurring billings or monthly subscriptions, so you only need to collect these details once. We also have an add-on called Advanced Payments, which is essentially a merchant terminal POS, which allows clients to punch in a credit card number over the phone or even in person. So FreshBooks makes it easy to collect payments and stay on top of your cash flows. Okay, so now that we've seen the features that business owners love, let's switch over to the accounting features. We have a dedicated accounting section, which houses all of our accounting specific tasks and features. So let's first look at the chart of accounts and journal entries. You can access the chart of accounts in FreshBooks by clicking the accounting section in the blue menu and then clicking the chart of accounts subsection. You can also click the View Your Accounts button on the Chart of Accounts tile at the bottom right of the screen. It comes preloaded with a list of default accounts, which is a great jumping off point to further customize it as needed. The Add New button enables you to add any accounts that are not found in the default list. The pop-up prompts you to add a number of fields, starting with the account type, which is where you can specify if the account falls under asset, liability, equity, income, or expense. Next, the account subtype will depend on the selected account type. Assets can be cash and bank, current and long-term assets, and property, plant, and equipment. Liabilities can be current and long-term liabilities. The equity and income sections do not have any additional subtypes. And finally, the expense can be cost of goods sold or operating expenses. Next, you can choose whether to create a new parent account or a sub-account under one of the existing parents. For this example, I'll create a business loan as a long-term liability account. Finally, you can enter the account details, which is the account name, the account number, which is pre-populated for you, but you're welcome to set a number of your choice if you prefer. And finally, an optional description. Click Add Account, and it will now appear in your chart of accounts. Now, to answer the question, how customizable is the chart of accounts? Custom accounts can be edited, but not fully deleted. Instead, we have an archive option, which will remove it from the list of accounts, and it won't appear as an option when creating a new journal entry. Some accounts are restricted as they are required for automated transactions, and they cannot be archived or renamed. It's a good idea to first add all the necessary accounts to your chart of accounts before creating any journal entries. And that takes us to the next section under accounting, journal entries. Like the chart of accounts, it can be accessed by clicking accounting and then the journal entries subtab. You can also click view your journal entries at the bottom left of the screen. This is where you can add manual journal entries for any entry type that's not covered by one of the existing FreshBooks features. We'll continue with our example and record a business loan. Click the green Create Journal Entry button to get started. Enter the relevant details like the date and the name. This will be your reference to the entry on the reports. The unique number and the currency field are pre-populated but can be changed if needed. Enter a detailed description so you know exactly what the entry was for when you look back on it. Select the accounts to debit and credit, and you can add more lines if needed. click the Save button once you're finished. If you'd like to make any changes as a result of an error or simply to add more information afterwards, you can click into the entry and then the Edit Entry button. And once you're done, you can click the View Report button to load the journal entry report. Amazing. So we've just gone through a couple of key accounting features that accountants love to use when they're working on their clients' FreshBooks accounts. So it's, as you can see, it's pretty simple to customize the chart of accounts and add manual journal entries to capture opening balances or any other infrequent transactions. So the chart of accounts, along with using manual journal entries to capture these special transactions, is key to having accurate and meaningful accounting reports. They address the challenges of usability and generating reports. So you may be wondering about preloading a chart of accounts or customizing it for specific clients. So we do have a few options for approaching this. With a new client, you can set up and customize the chart of accounts using the Add Account button. So this allows you to start fresh and control the number of accounts being added. And if you have a client coming from another GL or even from spreadsheets, we have a partner that can handle data migration into FreshBooks. So this ensures that you bring over clean data and only the accounts that you need. So our team would be more than happy to talk to you about how to get this process started. And finally, with clients who are new to you and with whom you're not engaged for cleanup work, you can enter their opening balances based on their prior year tax return by using both our Add Account and manual journal entry features. So when it comes to moving forward with these clients, you will see in the next section how bank connections and bank reconciliation ensure you have quality assurance over the bank transactions going forward. And to take you through bank reconciliation, I will now pass it back to Michael.
Thank you, Justin. So bank reconciliation needs no introduction. It's typically one of the most important and commonly used features. Connecting your bank account to FreshBooks comes with a range of benefits like automated expense imports and obviously bank reconciliation. So let's go ahead and see how this looks like in FreshBooks.
A bank account or credit card can be connected to FreshBooks through the bank connection screen. And once connected, it will automatically import expenses and unlock bank reconciliation. You can set your opening start date, as well as the opening balance from the screen. And once that's set, it will automatically add a new account to the chart of accounts as well. So you don't have to manually set them up. Now, this is your main bank reconciliation screen, where you can see the bank and the corresponding FreshBooks balances. Starting with the left side column, you have the transactions imported directly from your bank account, and it should match your bank statements. In fact, we recommend having your statements handy whenever you're reconciling. Now, if the automatic import misses a few entries, they can be added manually. And we also have the option for a file import to upload a batch of entries in bulk. If there's a mistake for any reason, you can edit or delete the entries as needed. Moving on to the right side, we have our FreshBooks entries. Since the bank connection automatically creates expenses, they should populate here. If you don't see a matching FreshBooks entry, you can add it directly from the screen. You can also update expense categories if needed from the screen without having to click out of it. We also have a Mark As button where you can mark specific types of entries, such as transfers between accounts, owner's draws or contributions, and expense refunds. When a transfer out or owner's draw is marked, it will automatically delete the expense entry so that your profit and loss is accurate. And as you continue to reconcile, the FreshBooks balance will update to match the bank account balance. And where do these entries go once they're reconciled? They move to the match section and to the corresponding account that was added to the chart of accounts.
Awesome. So we can see that bank connections and bank reconciliation ultimately address the challenge related to compatibility. As individuals familiar with managing and categorizing the bank feed, you understand better than anyone how critical this feature is as it relates to accurate reporting for yourself, your staff, and your clients. It allows you to provide real-time advisory and spot any jumps or drops in spending across different expense categories, and to ultimately plan ahead for tax returns and any other future spending needs. You can contact FreshBooks if you encounter any issues or have any questions about bank connections or bank reconciliation. So an example of a question that might come up is, can my client's bank account even be connected? So we have a range of resources to support you when and where you need it to help answer those types of questions. We have a dedicated team of bank import-export experts here at FreshBooks that actually look after bank connections should you or your client have any kind of questions. And then we also have dedicated partner support specialists like JJ or myself who have pretty much seen it all within bank reconciliation and are available to support you if you have any questions. Next up, we'll talk about accounting reports. Accurate and timely reports are crucial to providing your clients with useful insights, especially for those of you offering client advisory services. Let's now look at the range of reports that FreshBooks has to offer.
The next section in accounting are the accounting reports. They can also be found in the dedicated report section, which provides a full range of available reports from invoices and payments to accounting and time tracking reports. The star can be used to favorite a report and have it appear at the top of the page for easy access. Starting with the invoice details report, a popular one for many business owners, a common feature across all reports is that they can be exported to Excel or printed to a PDF file, and you can also email it as a CSV file attachment. The settings on the right side can be adjusted to pick the required date range, and the client and invoice status filters are really helpful to gain some useful insights. And just like the name suggests, the invoice details report is great at providing a lot of details. You can see each item or service that's billed, the quantity or time allotted, the sales tax, if any, the current status, and much more. Another popular report is the profit and loss report. It is very detailed and it allows you to drill down further. So for example, while doing your variance analysis, if you spot a jump or a drop between 2 months, you can click the blue links to take you straight to the transactions in question and review them as needed. The filters on the right side let you toggle between accrual and cash basis to help serve your different client types. And the breakdown filter is really useful for those clients who would like to track multiple revenue streams. Simply make sure to set up all the income accounts in your chart of accounts, and then set up the items and services and allocate them to the right income accounts. And then when you run the profit and loss report, they will be reflected as needed. All of these added details will really help your clients understand their profit and loss, which helps you add value and enable collaboration. Make sure to check out our full range of reports as you continue to explore FreshBooks.
Oh, awesome. So when busy season does roll around, accounting professionals want an easy way to quickly generate accurate and reliable balance sheet and profit and loss reports. In other words, everyone wants strong reporting. So we saw a couple of reports that we have in FreshBooks, which could help you and your clients understand what has happened during a specific period of time. FreshBooks business owners love the management account reports, so such as the accounts aging report, which prompts them to follow up with invoices. And FreshBooks actually makes it easy for them to do that because it includes a chat button. So we have that functionality as well, giving business owners the ability to communicate with their clients. Accounting professionals use reports like the general ledger to ultimately drill down into any unusual transactions or balances in the reports, like the balance sheet or profit and loss report. We spoke a bit about variance analysis for a jump in expenses, and that is just one advisory opportunity available by using FreshBooks reports. Right now, we're going to take a moment to drop a link in the chat. And this link is for a FreshBooks blog that talks about 11 advisory opportunities that you can add to your engagement, which will bring value to your clients and ultimately additional revenue for yourself. Finally, before we move on, let me address a few commonly asked questions about our reports. I see the chat going off, so maybe these questions might be asked in there as well. But first and foremost, yes, our primary statements are both accrual and cash-based. If you need to do any kind of calculations for comparative purposes, you can easily export FreshBooks reports into Excel. If you're looking for integrations, we do have a number of tax filing apps that we do integrate with. You can find that in our FreshBooks App Store. Now that we've seen all that FreshBooks has to offer, you may be interested in understanding how an accounting professional actually gets started in FreshBooks. Let's dive into our next video, which explores our very own Accountant Hub.
Let's start with where to create an Accountant Hub account. You can head over to accountant.freshbooks.com, where you can log in with an email address and password. We also have single sign-in options with Google or Apple. To create a new account, you can click the sign up link at the bottom. And once you enter your credentials, you'll be sent an email with the next steps to verify your account. And once verified, you will be taken back to your Accountant Hub account, where you'll be met with the welcome page. Enter your profile and firm information to complete setting up the account. And once you click finish, the account will be set up. Now that we've set up your firm's Accountant Hub page, let's walk through adding your first client. Adding clients to collaborate with you allows you to access their FreshBooks account and manage their accounting. There are two ways to add clients to the Accountant Hub. The first option is to add new clients to FreshBooks and create a new account from scratch. And if you have a client with an existing FreshBooks account, they can invite you to join their team. And once you accept the invite, they'll be added to your client list on the Accountant Hub. And in this session, we'll go over how to set up a new client. So click the Create Client button at the top right corner of the page to get started. You'll first enter the business information, and then you'll enter your client's information. And finally, on the last page, you'll enter the billing details. You'll first set the billing currency and also pick who pays for the subscription. If you pick My Firm, you'll be prompted to pick a subscription plan on the next page and add your payment information to proceed. If you pick the client, they'll be provided with a 30-day trial, after which they'll have to pick a subscription plan. Click Finish once you're ready to proceed. We have now set up your client's account. And since the client will be paying for the subscription, you can see that it is set up on a 30-day trial. So let's head back to the Accountant Hub. You can always access it from any FreshBooks account by clicking the company name at the top left corner. You'll also find your full client list here if you'd like to switch over to a new account. Your client has now been added to the client list, and you'll also see a lot of information at a glance, so you don't have to click into each client. The next step is to finish setting up this client. There's a very helpful widget here to assist you with that. So you'll need to invite the owner by clicking here, entering their email address, and then clicking Send Invitation whenever you're ready. Once the owner accepts the invite, they'll get access to the FreshBooks account. Let's have a look at the other sections. The billing section is where you can manage your payment method on file for any accounts that are billed to the firm, as well as access and download your receipts. You can also modify your payment information across all the client's accounts directly from the screen. The support link will open up our help section, giving you access to our comprehensive FAQ library. The settings section is where you can manage your account and your firm information, as well as customize all of your outgoing email templates.
Okay, so I know typically we summarize each video. I am mindful of the time. It is 2:57, and there is another poll question and video that I really do want to squeeze in here. So I might skip over my summary just so we can fit that in. But if you do have any questions about the Accountant Hub specifically, please feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll definitely get to it. But with that said, let me go ahead and launch our third and final poll question. And as you can see, for our final question, we'd like to ask you and learn, which FreshBooks product feature do you think can help you and your staff the most? Again, you can access this poll question by clicking on the PlayStation icon in the bottom right, and then just please scroll down to the very bottom once you hit the poll section. Personally speaking, I'm most intrigued by this question, so I'm interested to see the results of this one. Awesome. So quite a few votes for the chart of accounts and journal entries, which is great to see. Something that our product and engineering team would be happy to see. Okay, cool. Again, just being mindful of the time, I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. And we are quickly going to see one other video from Holly, just tying it all together with collaborative accounting.
Now that you've seen FreshBooks in action, I wanted to circle back around on what the key ingredient is to really making this framework successful. And that's right, you've got it. It's being collaborative. If you see the yellow diamond at the bottom of your screen, that's the client letting you know that they're done with the pre-accounting tasks. They can use the handover template that you can download for free in our FreshBooks Academy. And that yellow circle at the top, that's the catch-up meeting that you may have on a monthly or quarterly basis, or even an email to share feedback and start the cycle all over again, but with even better insights. You can also use our meeting agenda template or your own to guide this meeting for those meaningful conversations. The more you go around and work together, the better. The moment of handover is an interesting one. It can move to suit how you as the advisor uniquely work with your clients, maybe the services that they may offer in the firm, and how much help the owner really needs. However, our recommendation is that it sits between expenses and bills task and reconciling the bank task. This is because FreshBooks provides clients with easy-to-use features to take the lead on front-end activities, meaning accountants can focus their energy on high-value deliverables. This, folks, is a major benefit for both accounting professionals and your clients, having that clarity and communication that work for both parties. Finally, you can see two parts sitting outside the cycle: onboarding, which happens to every accounting professional and their client. We also provide resources and guidance here for our partners to get them started on incorporating collaborative accounting into their own onboarding tasks with minimal effort. We have seen them adjust the handover diamond to what suits them and their small business. We also know that some of our partners provide tax services. And just like we can today, output from the framework can be used to support this external service. In fact, using the framework and splitting down the tasks can make task time easier and more efficient. There you have it, collaborative accounting framework.
Awesome. So I recognize we're just over the hour mark here, so I'm going to breeze through this slide here. Ultimately, what we're doing with this slide is we want to showcase our excellent support that we've provided to both business owners and accountants. And in particular, what I really wanted to highlight with this slide was that one of the many benefits you receive if you become a certified partner with us is a direct line to our dedicated support team. This includes accounting specialists and many other types, specialized specialists, I guess. Anyways, clearly it's the end of the webinar here because I'm all tongue twisted. But thank you all for attending today's webinar. Our final slide here. If you have any questions that maybe you didn't get a chance to ask here and would like to email us, you can do so at accountants@freshbooks.com. I know that we're over the hour mark, so if you have to go, thank you so much for taking the time to attend. Jamie, thank you for also participating and being an excellent presenter and speaker with us. And with that said, thank you all for attending. Have a great day, everyone.